Hi there, welcome to our video, which is just a little chat between myself, Shannon Peerless,
and me, Andy Barr.
It's about our turning 15 years, and we just thought we'd have a bit of a chat about some of the stuff that we've done. So in terms of favourite campaigns for me, I think things like the stuff we did with Pav at Wish, so the romantic breaks for 3 for Valentine's Day, you know, to encourage threesomes, the job stunt. I think we were kind of pioneers in these job stunt stories that now everybody hates.
I can't remember what year it was, but we held some zombie auditions for their zombie bootcamp experience, and we hired some space in Pineapple Dance Studios. I saw Louis Spence in the flesh. That was quite exciting.
But I guess, you know, some of the brands that we've worked with, so obviously like IKEA, Superdry, Confused.com, Go Compare, and WaterAid. You know, from my side, getting to work with, you know, some people's been really interesting. So it's been really interesting to work with PR people from the Conservative Party, the Labour Party, but actually Chris Clarkson at sunshine.co.uk, I think strategically he was probably the cleverest person that you know, I've been lucky enough to work with.
Probably one of my favourite campaigns to work on, because back when I started 12 years ago, they were already an existing client, and we only stopped working with them when they got bought by On the Beach Group. So that was about 8 years, I reckon, in total.
Yeah, you know, things like working on Back Heathrow has been really interesting, because that's, as I understand it, if we believe our own propaganda, the largest building project undertaken since World War II, or government, you know, part government backed building projects. So things like that are really cool. People only think that we do the sort of weird phones up bums stories, the sex stories.
Yeah.
Thai green curry being the most erotic curry that we did for Just Eat.
Sending Mark Pearson from my voucher codes around London in a tank to protest Stephen Hester's RBS bonus.
The one where we got him to go into a snow leopard's cage because snow leopards are rare and voucher codes were rare.
Yeah.
I don't think, he doesn't speak to me anymore. It makes me really, really sad. And even like the first campaigns, when you think about it, the campaign that put us on the map was Try Wanted.
Lovely Ben Keane.
But Ben is an absolute legend. Yeah, you know, we've worked with him from the very start, 15 years ago, probably 16, because we started with him before we set the company up. And then right through to now, we still work with him on things like Rebel Butt Club and things like that. And that's really nice. I think it speaks volumes about, you know, the people that we work with are just great people. But, you know, we should probably talk a bit more about, you know, the fun times we've had before we talk about the gossip.
Yeah.
One of our global campaigns lost to a launch of fucking asparagus at an awards night out. I was in the toilet, someone came in and said, "Oh, Andy, here's the runners-up award," and I said, "Tell them to shove it up their arse." And they thought I said, "Shove it up your arse," and it ended in a big drama. So yeah, there's been plenty of awards that we haven't won where I have disgraced myself or disgraced the team by accident. But other fantastic scandal, we had a guy work for us who did a drug deal in the car park once.
Yeah, that happened.
Really nice. Oh yeah, the guy. Tell them about the guy that threatened you.
Yeah, so there was basically, I again won't mention any names, but this was years ago now, so I think it's safe to talk about. We did a video project for a guy who was really happy with what we produced, but then he had a film director friend that he showed it to, then suddenly wanted it all changed. And I was in the office on my own one night, and he phoned and said that he was going to send people to burn down our building, and he was sending in the dogs of war. And I'm still waiting for them because they haven't turned up yet. One of the really fun parts for me about having worked here for so long and becoming part of the furniture is that I've got to see that kind of transition of the agency. So when I started, you know, everybody would get really excited about print coverage. I think now obviously it's much more digital first. We're all about links and link building campaigns for clients because of the good impact on SEO. So I think that's been an interesting journey, and as we grew, we kind of had the PR team to start off with, and then we started to bring in social media people, video people, graphic designers, web developers, content creators, and it's just been really fun to be able to create those kind of campaigns that have all those different aspects to them. We're big fans of the cross-platform approach, and I think if you look back to where we were, well, 12 years ago when I started, definitely 15 years ago, and to now, it's probably unrecognisable in terms of what we do.
You know, we were probably the first or one of the first. I can't think of any other agencies that were doing it at the industrial scale that we were doing it in terms of trying to grow the authority of a website using web links and things like that. You know, and you think back to some of the strategies that we were using, say for like my voucher codes, where we were doing a story every day to different segments of the national press, so they didn't twig that we were putting out, you know, 5 stories a week. So one to parenting, one to tech, one to consumer. You know, and watching the evolution of that. But in terms of like what I think, you know, I could have done differently, or we could have done differently, I think should have backed ourselves a bit more in the first few years. I think that if we'd have took a punt and accelerated our growth and hired people a lot faster, we could have achieved our revenue levels that we achieved in year 5 in maybe in year 1 or year 2. It's just we were very cautious. I do believe that we've done the right thing in investing in our people and not just using freelancers that we can bin off, you know, when we don't want them. Thinking about the people we couldn't have done it without, or lasted 15 years without, obviously Shazza and Patsy, who you know, been sort of next level and really saved the business from some of my stupid decisions and ideas. Obviously Jill, because the business wouldn't be going. You know, Jill started the business, she worked on it on her own for you know, the first year or so. And then the 2 final people, Alan, who's our business mentor, very grumpy brummy, but always gives fantastic advice, especially around staying focused, business strategy, business ideas. He's kind of like my mentor. And then finally, you know, Nick Swan, who, you know, he's a really good mate of mine first and foremost, but the stuff that he's done to help me, you know, help you and help us as a business has been, you know, has been fantastic. And he's another one that's like really good at making sure we stay focused. I think, you know, without those people, we'd have been absolutely fucked. But I've always had that mantra that you should employ people that are better than you, and I've just got people that just really know what they're doing and are next level clever.
Completer finishers.